Welcome to Italy, where the Kite Slalom Europeans 2012 starts today. The hung loose beach in Gizzeria is perhaps one of the world's most wonderful places in which to host such an event. The beach is amazing, the weather conditions are ideal, and the organizers are doing great work and making sure everyone feels at home. Wonderful shows and a lot of fun for all the riders and their audience as well. The top kite surfers from around Europe have all gathered here in Italy, hoping to lay claim to this prestigious trophy. Bruno Srocca and Julien Kerner from France, as well as Santo Stefano and Gia Vanelli. In the women's fleet, Maria Piscopo is also here, with Mathilde Sedin and Vanina Puteri. First day of the Kite Europeans, with the riders arriving early in the morning. A lot of stress for everybody this first day. They all have great expectations and want to prove themselves. Who will make it at the end? The heat really is on for this world-class event, and ambitions run high. Following the skippers' meeting, the kite surfers were now preparing their kites and getting ready to head to the racecourse area. It was 1 o'clock when the race committee decided to go afloat in order to start the races. Time for some action then. Among the top riders, we find Francis Bruno Srocca and Lorenzo Giovanelli from Italy. Both of them are in great shape, and they'll give it their very best to leave from Gizzeria victorious. However, the contest will not be between just these two. Many sailors have come here posting equally impressive performances. But let's see what they're capable of today under the gorgeous sun of Calabria and this wonderful breeze coming from northwest. The battles continued late into the afternoon. Weather conditions as ideal as that could not only encourage the organizers to keep their plans for the races, and in the end, both the men's and women's races were all successfully completed. Not only that, but the sailors offered a great show of fighting spirit and their great skills to the excited spectators watching. The races, after all, were held really close to shore. The trick for many was to try for a really good start and secure one of the first places in the race from early on. This would give them the advantage on the first rounding. And depending on the level of one's technique and good tactics, some riders managed to pass over others in spectacular manner. The day one finished with Srocca leading in front of Giovanelli and Santo Stefano. Kerner did not have a good performance today. At the same time, Piscopo is leading in the women's fleet in front of Cao and Sedin. Let's see how the event will unfold. On shore, things are as exciting as ever. It seems there are beautiful people everywhere. Some are playing beach volleyball, others relaxing and basking in the glorious Italian sun. And everyone's waiting for the start of today's races. But before the riders can start, the necessary preparations must be completed. There is the all-important trimming to be done and the adjustments in kites and boards. It's a part of the sailor's routine, of course, but it's always so much more fun when the beach is beautiful and the music plays loud. When it comes to the weather, things are slightly different from yesterday. The winds are strong, 17 to 18 knots coming from the northwest. Perfect conditions for racing. The riders were ready to head to the race area a little before 1 o'clock in order to test their equipment. The day had some great sailing moments in store for spectators. And there were some fierce battles from the very first hit. The tough competition, combined with strong winds, tested the skills and tactics of those sailors today. Many reached their limits and had to prove their determination, however. All the favorites from yesterday made their way into the semi-finals. Elimination 4 went underway as scheduled at 1300, with the fleet divided into 4 groups. All the favorites from yesterday made their way into the semi-finals. From the very start of today's races, the sailors who excelled yesterday were pressured from all sides. And it all paid off in the case of Italy's Lorenzo Giovanelli, who managed to steal first place from Julien Kerner of France. On the other hand, despite an impressive performance from France's Mathilde Serine, the Italian Maria Piscopa kept and strengthened even her leading position. After the lunch break, a half-fleet race was on the program, with all top favorites advancing to the final, except Nocher, who injured himself in Elimination 5. For the women, it was Serine's turn to claim victory, ahead of France's Ariane Imbert and Turkey's Merve Ceylan. Let's hear Ariana Kaus and Julien Kerner's impressions from today's tough races.
Today we did first the single elimination of the men and also of the women. And then we had a full hit of men and also a full hit of women.
Today we did 2 races. I win the first race and I finish second the second race. The forecast for this afternoon is very good. To 15 knots, maybe 20 with 11 meters. But I hope win one more race.
In this second day, Giovanelli managed to take the lead while Piscopo is still first, increasing her gap from the second. After 2 days of full action with breeze of 15 to 20 knots, the riders arrived early to trim and tune. But today, light winds would keep the sailors on the beach. But eventually, things got to a start with the 8th elimination race. So, would Italy's Giovanelli maintain his lead over France's Kerner? Sailing at this level is not always about coming first. Too many details need to be just right. Over early starts, for instance. One must always be extra careful about things like that. Ariane Imbert had a great race in the day's first hit for the women's fleet. She qualified for the finals, while Vanina Puteri didn't do so well and got left out of the top 3 spots. Puteri was on Imbert's heels, who took the lead from the very beginning. But while Imbert performed an excellent rounding before the last leg, Puteri's kite fell on the water. What a disappointment for her. She would now lose the second place too, and with it, qualification to the finals. In the other heat, it was Turkey's Ceylan leading the race, but Piscopo was really close and threatening her. France's Mathilde Serine was in 3rd place at that stage of the race. Would she manage to overtake her rivals and improve her position? In the men's fleet, Bruno Sroka was doing great in the heats and managed to qualify in the end. His compatriot Marcus unfortunately wasn't on a great day and didn't make it to the finals. At the 8th elimination race in the men's finals, the Frenchmen Kerner and Sroka started ahead of their rivals, Italy's Giovanelli and Santo Stefano. But they got disqualified in the end since they started over early. Eventually, Giovanelli managed an easy win against his compatriot, and so increasing his lead in the overall rankings too. The main battle at the 9th elimination race in the women's finals was that between Kau against Maria Piscopo and Ariane Imbert. As the race unfolded, Imbert took the lead, with Piscopo, however, following her closely. Let's return to the men in the finals of the 9th elimination race, where Giovanelli was involved in a fierce 3-way fight with Sroka and Kerner. Finally, despite the serious efforts by the French, the Italian kept the top spot. with Kerner in second place and Sroka in third. These were the same positions they had at the beginning of the race. Let's hear what Piscopo had to say about her day.
Yeah, it was a really good day. The first race we had a light wind, so it was really hard to compete. Also because I don't have a race board, so it was really hard. But I could take the first place, so I'm really happy.
Today finally was a wonderful day with the audience enjoying the show of the riders and the happenings of the hung loose beach. Time for some relaxing and some fun, of course, for the kiteboarders. Until the next morning. On this fourth and last day at Hung Loose Beach, winds are very light. So maybe it's time for some other sailing sports. Catamaran, anybody? Others, however, thought it was wiser and more enjoyable to relax, suntan, and enjoy the view. But apart from beautiful people, the beach accommodates some adventurous stunts courtesy of Red Bull. What a show these people can give. Some bikers, they can really jump.
Another day, cities rise, grow, fall. Nothing new, you know I've seen it all. It's like a big revolving door.
Soon after that, the wind got stronger, and this could signal only one thing: time for racing action. But before the riders could get on with that, there was some more fun to be had. Who can jump the highest? In the women's finals and the 11th elimination race, there were some fierce battles today. Ariane Imbert had a great start, but Maria Piscopo as well as Venita Puteri were on her heels. It was Mathilde Sarin's turn to take the lead today, however. At the same time, in the men's 11th elimination race, there was a general recall at first, since Ricardo Noble started over early. When the race once again got underway, everyone seemed to be doing quite well, especially the riders starting on the pin end. The best performance at this first part of the race, however, belongs to Italy's Lorenzo Giovanelli. He took some risks, but it all paid off, so he grabbed the lead from early on. Following that, it was time for the women's full fleet race, with Piscopo winning this time, right ahead of Imbert and Serin. Congratulations goes to her. She put in a very consistent performance throughout this championship, hosted by her native Italy. When it came to the men's fleet race, it was Sroka who had the best start and took the early lead. So, it was now Giovanelli's turn to pursue his French rival. Of the other Italians, Marcus managed to improve his position and finish third this time, with Noble in fourth place. Let's look at the final results now. In the men's competition, it was Giovanelli crowned European champion. His French rivals, Julien Kerner and Bruno Sroka, had to settle for second and third place. The scene was repeated in the women's fleet, with another Italian in first place. Let's hear a few words from the winners themselves as they talk about their impressions from this championship and future Olympic dreams.
I'm really happy because I did a good results. I'm really happy also because I won against Julien Kerner, that is the world champion of 2012. I want to be the first also this year in the Italian championship and also for the next 3 years to go at Rio with Italy for the Olympic Games.
It's a surprise for me. I didn't expect that I could win the European Championship. I will try to do my best for the Olympic Games, so I hope I will be there.
So, it was now time for trophies and prizes to be awarded. And for us to say goodbye to Italy on the high note of the beautiful closing ceremony. Thanks for watching.